Welcome to Not Ashamed. I'm your host, Ashley Nordman, and today I'm here with my good friend, Haley Tharp. Haley, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad we could sit down and talk today.
Yeah, this is kind of nostalgic in a way.
I know.
We're back doing this again.
I know. It's so funny because I was on your podcast, what? Was it
October.
So it's almost a year ago.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's gone by so fast. Seriously, so
Yes.
fast. Your podcast is so great. While we're already talking about it, you might as well just plug it. So what's your podcast called?
Thank you. It's Inside Voice, and we're on every major listening platform. So Apple, Spotify, YouTube, all those. And we talk a lot about self-improvement, personal development, just overcoming challenges in life, and just how to live a more aligned life to you. And also we talk a lot about some health and fitness stuff, and
I love it. It's right up my alley. It's literally everything I love to know about, and my listeners do too. So everyone check out Haley's podcast. It's great. I was on it if you ever want to listen to our episode. And I was actually just thinking before we started recording, we were kind of talking about this. I always think back to the day that we recorded together, because there's an episode I did. It was one of my first episodes that really took off, because it was kind of a crazy story. But this man that was married reached out to me and was literally trying to I don't even know what the right word is. It was he was dropping a line, trying to see if I would get with him or something. And I was just so caught off guard. But I bring this up because the day he reached out to me, I literally pulled in, and I remember sitting in the parking spot waiting to walk in to record with you at your recording studio. And I was early, so I'm sitting there checking my messages, and I had a message on Facebook Messenger, and I was like, who the hell is this? And I open it, and it's this guy who had added me probably a month prior, and I had never talked to him, but I had noticed he was liking all my stuff, but I didn't know who he was. And so he messaged me and sent me this long message, and then he sent me a video in his car of his face, and was like, hey Ash, what's up, blah 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 blah, see that you're doing big things in the world, and sent me this long video message. And I was like, this is so weird, because how many times have you gotten a video message from a guy on Messenger?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, what is happening?
And you've never met him in person?
I had never met him. I didn't even know what he looked like. And I mean, obviously he added me on Facebook, so I knew it was photos, but I had never seen his face like that. You just see their profile picture, and that's it. And so he messaged me this long thing, and I remember just sitting there for 5 minutes, do I respond or do I not? So I just vaguely wrote back and was like, thank you so much for the message, nice to chat with you, have a good day. And I remember when I left the podcast with you, he had wrote me back a couple messages, and that's when he started talking to me and asked me to go get coffee with him to talk about business. And he wouldn't tell me what it was, but it seemed kind of legit the way he worded it. And his wife bought skincare from me, so I kind of felt oh my gosh, I don't want to be a dick to this guy when his wife buys my skincare, comes in my store all the time. I knew her.
Yeah.
And so, but I never knew her husband, because I didn't know her that well, And so anyway, we ended up meeting up for coffee. It was an actual disaster, and it was so awkward. He bought me a massage and sent me a little thing across the table. I was like, here, I got a massage booked for you in your name. And so I contacted his wife and told her, and she didn't believe me. She was like, you're crazy. I can't believe you'd reach out to me. And I was trying to help her out, because I was like, your husband is hitting on me and buying me massages and trying to get, it was just so strange. So anyway,
did you send her the video?
No, because I went back later and he deleted all of his messages to me. He had deleted most of the stuff he had said to me to make it look like he had no evidence of talking to me. Yeah, it was so weird.
Crazy.
And so I kind of called him out on social media, and then he not on social media, because I changed his name and everything, because I really don't want people to know. But what's weird is 3 women reached out to me after, and they were like, I know exactly who this is. And they told me his name, and they were right. And they had done it to him too, or he had done it to them too.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
So yeah, it was just kind of crazy how that all went down. And it
Sister or wife.
I know. And they had just had a baby. I mean, it was bad. And so this was October that we had met last year to record. And I think when him and I met, it was in February, March of this year, maybe.
Oh, okay.
So it was months later that he had kept talking to me, and eventually met up with me for coffee. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's just a business thing. And then what really sealed the deal is he literally dropped off a package on my front porch, hand delivered it with a love letter asking to take me out. And I was like, dude. And that's when I contacted his wife and I like sent her a picture and everything. I was like, this is what your husband's doing. And she like was like, no, he's just being professional. This is just business. I was like, okay.
Wow.
Okay.
That's no business.
No, that's
like my husband to do.
No, exactly, girl. What do you like?
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you? Okay. The things you allow and I allow are very different.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
I'm married to a businessman and I would not
Seriously.
appreciate him giving out massages to other women. I need the massage.
Right. I'm like, actually, you didn't give me a massage in bed because my back hurts. So I'm taking care of these kids, running this house.
Yeah. Wow. That is.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I hate that hex is now on me. Every time you think of me, you're like, oh, this guy that reached out to me.
I know. So I'm like, today I want to like reset the whole vibe so that I never think of that when I think of you. Because for like the longest time, I would like always think of like recording that podcast with you and then him reaching out and that whole like thing transpiring.
Yeah.
And okay, so what do you mean by hex? What does that mean?
I don't know. Like a hex, like a thing that it's like overwhelming you when you think of me or something.
Yeah. So are you like big on energies and stuff?
Yes. Very much so.
Okay. So I know you told me a little bit that you do, what is it called?
Human design.
Human design.
Yes.
So it's not astrology.
It's a little bit of astrology. It's like spirituality mixed with science. And so it's definitely plays a lot of like energies and the time, it's similar to astrology and like what time you were born, where you were born, in what city, and or like the date, time, and what city you were born in. And so that's how you find out like your energy type and your whole human design profile. So it's basically like all the energies that make up you and like your blueprint and what you're here to do in this lifetime. So
And so do these things, like when people tell you about, even like an instance like I just told you about, does it make you think of like things evolving back to their energies and stuff when I tell you these things? Or
like with the guy?
Yeah. Like are you sitting here like analyzing?
I mean, some stuff I do. Yeah. For him, it sounds a little bit more like he is lacking attention somewhere. But
very separate from
I
you have to love that issues, honey.
I think that's above my pay grade. I don't know much about that, but no, I think everything is energy. Really.
Yeah.
The food we eat has energy in it. So
and like the world speaks in energies kind of, because it can't really talk.
Yeah.
Like that's how like the world talks, I feel like.
Yeah. And I love like how you always say that like you're a feeler because you're a Cancer.
I am such a feeler.
And I'm similar to that. I'm not a Cancer, but I am a Leo.
Oh.
But
I am Leo.
Yeah. Leos were woo.
Yeah.
But I love that, you say that because I'm very similar, and like if I walk into a room, like I can instantly feel the energy of like the person that I'm nearby.
Yeah. What is that? Like, is it just like an instinct, or like what do you think?
I think that like if you're more open to it, you feel it more.
So you think it's like a mindset thing, like you are aware and you like are maybe a little more empathetic, or like human, like
it's
you
kind of like
people.
A superpower, like your ability to read the room or read who you're around.
My mom has always told me I'm that way. She's like, you can just read people, like you like you feel people, like when they're hurting, you're hurting, like. And I always have been told that's like being an empath, but is that, or is it
I feel like empath is such a buzzword.
I do too.
And so I mean it is essentially what it is, you're empathic, you can feel emotions, feel energies. But I look at it like, like you said, certain people I feel like have it more than others, and it's really just opening yourself to it. I feel like you have always been like that since I was a little kid. I mean, I remember certain things as a little kid, like walking into the room, and I can't really remember what was happening in the room that I was in with the family members that I was around or whatever, but I can remember the energy of it, that it was just like sad or heavy, or it was super happy and we were excited, or like it was dangerous and like something not good was happening. And so I've just always been like that. But I feel like as I got older, I kind of stuffed it down a little bit, and I could still like feel energies from people, but I would just brush it off, and I would almost be like a chameleon in a way.
Yeah.
And so I would just be what I felt like the people I was around wanted me to be. And in that, it's in human design, it's called your conditioning. So you just basically become like who the people you're around want you to be, what you think society wants you to be, who you think you should be, not who you truly are. And so in human design, it's called a deconditioning process.
So like getting back to like who you are.
Yes. And so it's basically like a spiritual awakening, another buzzword that I feel like is
but
very
I love
used.
that.
But yeah, so it's kind of like a spiritual awakening, a deconditioning process where you figure out, you know, what your blueprint is, what you're here to be. And it's kind of like when I found out my own, it was like so many light bulbs went off. I was like, oh my gosh, I've forgotten so much of this in myself. And so I know we've talked a lot about, you know, like how we connected at the networking event where I was like in this burnout phase of my career. And I was like, I don't know my purpose. I don't know what I'm meant to do. And I just feel so like lost. And I still felt that way after starting my podcast. I was like, okay, I feel like I'm on the right path, but I still just don't know the thing yet. And then even after our episode that we had together, which went great, I loved it, and it just built momentum for me in the podcast and everything. And the more guests I had, I was just like, oh, I love this, but something's still missing.
Right.
And I had a guest on who was there to talk about astrology, but she brought up human design. So it's kind of in the same realm, but different. And so she brought that up, and I was like, oh, I've heard of this, but I haven't ever really looked into it. And the minute I looked into it, like I said, light bulbs going off, and it really just helped me realize that I am here in this lifetime to help people and be a guide for people. And I'm already doing that with the podcast, but even more so like on a deeper level as far as like helping people find their purpose. And I'm really passionate about like career stuff for sure, because that was my whole thing.
That like transformed you.
Yes.
Like changing
finding my career.
Yeah.
And so I'm a projector, and that's pretty much what we're here to do is guide and teach. And so coaching is like a huge thing for projectors, and even podcasting. And so I love that I'm on this path of guiding, and I really just think that my purpose is in helping others succeed, whether that's career or just finding a purpose in life. Like even stay-at-home moms, you know, like you don't necessarily need to find your purpose within a career that makes you all this money. It could be something as simple as, you know, you go to a soup kitchen a couple times a week and help
giving back. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. This is crazy because I have seen you evolving, I feel like, from like the outside over the last couple of years, because I met you at this networking event where you were like, I'm so burned out with my photography. I need to like switch gears here. And then you did it. You just went for it, which is awesome. But then it's like, wow, that was a stepping stone to like helping you find even more of who you are, because you ironically bring on this astrology, like your guest. And then that's how you like got into this. And I feel like you said, it's all kind of coming together. It's like, I was meant to do this podcast and to open up to the world and like share my gifts, but then now I can like do it even more and like help other people with finding their own like inner self, I guess.
Absolutely.
And I feel like you saying this, it just like rings so many bells for me, because first of all, I have this app on my phone, and of course I don't have my phone on me, but I will find it, but it does like a reading for me every day based off of like date, time, where I'm from, where I was born, like my birthday, all that stuff. And it like, I'm like very much so kind of into it, but I haven't even like stepped my toes in really with like astrology and like the universe and energies and things like that. I just know I'm a Cancer, and I know I definitely am a Cancer. Minus the part that some Cancers are very like introverted. I'm not at all.
So that could be your rising sign or your moon sign.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like there's like some other things I'm like, I don't even know what that means, but I'm somewhere along the line of like a cusp of something else where like that part of me is not Cancer at all, but everything else is. But also I just think like, I hear you say like chameleon, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like even my podcast team tells me, they're like, you have this incredible gift where like when you sit down with someone, you know exactly how to make them feel comfortable because you become like them. Like you're this version of you when you interview Bart, who's a guy that owns a gym that's like manly, masculine energy, and I kind of like pull out that masculine energy side of me. Yeah. And then I interview someone who's really soft spoken, and I can kind of get down on their level too and be like very like calm and like collected. And at first they were like, we don't know if this is like a great thing or a bad thing because it might come off like not genuine.
But I've always thought it's like a superpower and a curse at the same time.
And so I'm still like torn. I'm like, am I consistently me, or am I just a product of the people I'm around because I'm like a little bit of a people pleaser and I'm trying to be like them? And so when you just said that, I'm like, I almost wonder who I really am deep down, if I even know, because maybe I am such a adaptable person to the people I'm around that I become that energy instead of it being my own energy. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. It's so many of us. I mean, so many people, I think, struggle with that.
Yeah.
Because it is so, I mean, especially like nowadays, we have social media, we have all these things like telling us like, you need to look like this, you need to act like this, you need to, you know, I just used an example like this in my podcast the other day when I was talking a little bit about human design, is that like there are some motivational speakers that are like, you need to be up at 4 a.m. and get this, this, and this done by this time, and you need to work 10 hours a day in order to be successful and blah, blah, blah. Well, sometimes that doesn't work for everyone. Exactly. And that's what I've learned in human design, because I was the person listening to these motivational speakers, and they're great. Don't get me wrong. Like that works for someone who is like a generator or even a manifesting generator. But for someone like me, who's a projector, I am not meant to work 10 to 12 hours a day and 7 days a week and just grind. I am definitely more of like the silent observer. And like, you know, I can pump out 12 hours of work in 3 hours, and like then I have the rest of the day to just kind of like observe and learn and absorb knowledge and different things, and then project that out to people who are seeking that guidance. So
how do you like define really cool. that with yourself? Is that from like the human design, like the studies you've done? That's how you've been able to, is there like how do you examine someone like that?
Like find your
profiles? Like what are you?
So there's a site, there's a few probably that you can use to find out your energy type, and that's how I found out mine. And then I ended up enrolling in the course, and I believe it's myhd.com is the one that I use. She has an app also, and that's the app that I use, and it's similar to like, I'm sure your astrology app that you were saying, is you get like daily updates that you can read. And it teaches you a lot about like, if you just want kind of like a basic overview of your like your energy type and your profile and kind of everything that you are, like what makes up your blueprint, and just kind of skim through a little bit of that. I'm guaranteed a bunch of light bulbs are going to go off. And then if you want an even deeper look into it, you can always get a reading with someone who's certified, which
so that's what you're on. So that's what you're on the path to do. So is it like tarot card kind of stuff?
No,
like what is it?
This is not super woo. So if you're,
it's only one woo. It's not woo.
It's not woo woo. It's just woo. But it's not, you know, a lot of people, there's a misconception with like things like astrology, and it is similar to that, I will say. But a lot of misconception is that everybody's like, oh, you're telling me my future, and it's, you know,
like a psychic.
And kind of it's not like that. I'm not trying to, you know, put on one of those head things and be like, this is who you're gonna marry, or, you know, like this is what you're gonna be doing in 5 years. It's really not that at all. It's more so just reminding you who you were when you came into this world.
Like your most authentic you, like stripped down before like life happened and people impacted you and changed you. And
absolutely. Because you could have had like the best upbringing ever, you know, like it has nothing to do with like, oh, your parents did something wrong or whatever. It's just, it is a conditioning process. And it's like they call it a human design experiment, because it is that you come here as like with this blueprint, and then you get your condition throughout your youth and your, you know, as you're going through childhood and even in like your early adult years, and then you maybe come into this spiritual awakening. And I will say, human design is not for everybody. Like if you're listening to this and you're not like, oh my gosh, like I really want to learn and I really want to know this about myself, then it's probably not for you. So it definitely isn't for everyone.
So you need to be like open to it and like interested in like wanting this. Which makes sense, because if you're going into it with resistance, you're not even going to take anything from it. You're gonna be like, this is dumb, I don't want this. Where it's like, there's some people that are genuinely like tapped into that already a little bit and want to know more, like I do. And then there's people that I'm sure are just so I'm sure there's like a stigma with it where there's some people that just like judge with it a little bit too, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I mean, if you're that person that's just like, no, I don't need to know that. Well, then, you're maybe just not meant to know yours. Maybe that's not your role in this lifetime, and that's totally okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Me, on the other hand, I am like, I want to dissect everything about myself, because I'm like, I want to learn how to be the best version of myself for me and my husband and my kids, and I'm really excited to now know all this and be able to be that person. And I've also dissected my husband's human design and my kids. And it actually, like, as a mom, it has really helped me understand my kids too and what they need. And I'm like, if I can help their conditioning process not be so ingrained in them, then I will. And then they don't have to go through as much deconditioning as they get older and maybe want to look into this. And that's another thing too. I do not push this stuff onto my kids. If they ask me about it, I'll explain some things to them, from what I've learned through human design.
But you'll let them like formulate their own opinion on it. Exactly. Like if they want to know and they want to tap into it, cool. And if they don't, you're not going to like push that on them.
Exactly.
And I think like what you're saying, it tells me that you just want to be, like you said, your best version of yourself. And how can you be your best when you don't even know you? Because that's the problem I feel like so many women come to me with. They're like, well, I don't know what to do. I don't know like what career I want, what path I want to go down, what kind of man I want in my life. And it's like, well, if you don't even know who you are and what you want and the things you love and the things that make you tick and the things that bring out the best of you, then how can you ever make decisions that are going to lead you to a happy life? And at the end of the day, we all just want to be happy. And so I feel like when you understand yourself, that is like true power. And then understanding your partner deeply is a whole nother, like that probably sent your relationship to like a whole nother level, because you can communicate better, their needs, like, how to show up for them. Like those cause so many conflicts if you don't understand that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it for sure has helped like understand each other as a couple. And then like it has helped him too. Like we're both entrepreneurs. He owns his own business. And for him finding out his human design, he's been like, oh my God, I've been doing everything wrong. He's like, dang it. Yeah. And so he's like, definitely has helped him understand like the adjustments that he's needed to make in his own business. Yeah. And I can tell you, I started getting into human design, I want to say in like April. Okay. And so from April to now, for him to find all this out about, his design and what helps him succeed, because everyone has their own different version of success and like how they succeed. And that's what's great about human design is it tells you like, this is how you're going to reach that level. And so by me explaining everything to him, he's like, oh, I've like felt this, but I like just didn't know how to like articulate it, basically.
For sure.
And so he's made adjustments in his business, and already, like I said, since April, we can see that there's a lot of great things going to be happening soon for him.
We'll get back to the podcast in just a moment. This episode is sponsored by AN Skin, your answer for all things skincare and beauty. Our medical-grade products, made in the USA, use high-quality ingredients and are clinically proven to give you clear, healthy, youthful skin. Everything is cruelty-free. Visit anskinbeauty.com to shop now and regain your confidence. Now, back to the episode.
So what does it change for you, would you say?
For me, I think it was just happiness, like genuinely finding purpose, because I was just at a low place, I would say about a year ago. And I was, like I said, so burnt out in my career as a wedding photographer. And it was like, I couldn't even pinpoint what it was that was making me miserable. Like I was like, I make great money. I literally want for nothing. Like if I want something, I just go buy it, like I don't. So it wasn't like a lack of money or a lack of success. So I was just like super confused of like, why am I not loving? Like, why do I feel like I can't do this another day? And so I feel like it just was my time of like, maybe my deep inner self being like, Haley, no, we're not going down the right path here. And so
you're like inside version. You're just like, hello.
Right, I know.
Where are you? This is not for you anymore, darling.
I just watched Inside Out 2 with my daughter yesterday.
Did you?
So I'm like picturing that in my head. Like I have those little characters that are like, no, like hitting the button.
Okay, I have never seen that, but I was watching Katie Hearn.
No.
She owns like Alani Nu and like it's like the supplement company that's anyway.
Okay.
She's like a fitness influencer and she like posted Inside Out 2 something earlier and I was like, what is she trying to say? Did she like word it wrong? But she was talking about that movie.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, I get what you're saying now. I don't know what that movie is.
It's funny. It's like these little characters that control your body. So there's another movie from like the 90s that it's similar. I can't think of what it's
okay,
called.
I need to watch it then.
Yeah.
When I'm recovering from my surgery, I'll just watch it on the big screen.
It's
like,
a really
this is
cute
what you're talking
movie.
about.
Yeah, we loved it. But that's what I'm picturing right now is that my little people were like, no,
Yeah, your
this
little
is
people
not
are like
right.
hammering your shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, get out, stop doing this.
Yeah, I just felt like I needed to do more. Like,
What
I
were
was
you
just
like missing then? What do you think you were missing? Was it like the way you showed up or like how you impacted people? Like you felt like the photos weren't like photographing like people's special day wasn't like the true impact you needed. It was like something different. Like,
I think the
more
level
one-on-one maybe.
it was
Going
just like
deeper?
the way that I was impacting people because like people would get their photos back and they're like, I'm in tears, and that made me feel great. Like I love that. I love being able to give people that on their like one of the most special days of their life. But it was like I just felt like there was something more and I was so hyper focused on my own success. Like I was just trying to be like this great success and like have all this stuff and what I found in finding myself is that I feel more empowered and successful and happy when I am helping other people be successful. And so that's what it was that I was missing.
And the photography business was just making you successful. Yes. While it was making these people feel happy, it wasn't like changing their life in a way that it was making them find something more. It was just like, oh, this is a great product. Thank you so much for these beautiful photos. Like the album itself and stuff, that's beautiful. But it wasn't like you were helping them like figure out their own career path or something that
like
was
change
like,
their life.
Yeah, like changing their life.
Like I was changing their life for the moment.
Yeah.
But
nothing
in a few years from now, they're not going to look back and be like, my wedding photographer changed my life.
Yeah. Changed me for
yes.
Which that would be fabulous. And I'm sure there are some wedding photographers out there that can.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if I did, I'm honestly.
Yeah, you're like, I'm grateful.
Thank you
I'm
so much.
that one day of me photographing your day like changed you. But yeah, no, I feel that. So I think like you said, maybe this makes sense. So the human design like really helped you see like you need to be like mentoring people essentially.
Yes.
Versus just the one like reaping the benefit of like the successful business you had, for example.
Exactly.
So are you going to start doing readings and doing your podcast together?
Yeah. So
readings on the podcast?
So, well, I don't know about that.
You so should.
Maybe
It'd be so cool.
Put some in there,
Yeah,
but
I'll be your first guest to do it.
okay. Yeah, I would love to. I would love to know your design.
Me too, because I am
feel like
so weird. Like
you could be a generator. You could be a manifesting generator. I'm just guessing.
Okay, so
Maybe you'll have to add it to the show notes in here of what you are.
Yeah, we should do it after and then just like add it in. Because, okay, so I am for sure like a influencer, like not even like social media, like an actual like influential person, I guess is the best way to put it, which I hate saying that. It sounds so like,
no, but that's why I think you're a generator. Because generators, when they're doing what they love and they're putting that out into the world, it's like you set off energy. So I'm not an energy type, or like I'm not a energy producer. Projectors, like I don't produce energy. But if you're a generator, you would.
I for sure do.
And
I feel like I could walk in a room and like change the whole environment if I wanted to. Like it could be boring and I'm like, nope, we're having fun, and everyone just like starts doing it because it's like I'm like the leader of it. Sorta, and like
I bet you are a generator.
And I've always been really good at like sales, and I think it's because people trust me because I'm very like open and I like am very. Just like how we've talked about, like we understand each other's energy and we like feel people. I think because of that, I can relate to people well, and then they like build relationships with me easily. But it's also like a downfall because you can crash and burn really quickly with people like that too, because it's like I love everyone, I take them in as my own, and then sometimes they're not for me, so they like remove themselves quickly.
You need a projector in your life.
I do.
I will be that for you.
Okay. So what does a projector do? Like guide the way?
Yeah, like you just kind of see things like behind the scenes.
Yeah, see, and I don't.
like,
I'm not skeptical or anything. Like I see something and I just take it as it is. Like I would say the best word is like naive. Like I'm very naive to everything. I'm just like, if I see a yellow dog, it's a yellow dog. Like I don't think anything otherwise. Like I don't think, oh, maybe the dog's hair is dyed or whatever. I'm just making something completely up because I'm looking at my sleeping dog on the couch. But it's like, I don't, even though I am like an out of the box thinker, when it comes to like people, I just take them for what they are. And I like don't think twice. And I don't know how to like explain that the best, I guess. But it's like, I just like what I see is what I get is kind of like how I like operate. And it's a little quick. Like I'm kind of like decisive. Like I'm like, this is it. I'm taking it. Yes. And like, I don't know. It's different. Most people have to think things over.
That's an endearing quality because I'm the opposite, and I'm trying to get better. But it sounds like you're first like I love you before I don't love you.
Exactly.
I'm more like I don't love you before I love you.
You're innocent until proven guilty, where everyone else is like, well, not everyone, but most people I feel like are, ooh, you're guilty until proven innocent. I don't know if I trust you. And I'm like the total opposite. Everyone in my life tells me that. The guy I'm seeing tells me that. He's like, you are too trusting. And he's like, you have to figure it out. Like you think everyone is good and not everyone is good. Like you, as in me, might be good. Like, and I genuinely feel like I am. Like I want the best for people and I will never hurt people intentionally. And so I always think other people are the same way. A lot of people don't operate like that. And it's not necessarily like we have a problem in this world. I just think people are so worried about their own stuff a lot of times that they go into things like, not like selfishly necessarily, but like they're kind of worried about their own outcomes because they're so wrapped up in it. And like for me, I would rather like I would rather take the shirt off my back and help other people because I know I'll find a way no matter what. And like I think some people like don't look at it that way. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but
or fully appreciate it.
Yeah,
I think is the biggest.
The appreciation piece is huge. Yeah, I understand that for sure. So
and what's sad is it says a lot more about like them and what they're going through than it does you.
Yeah.
And I've really had to learn that recently about just people in general, like people that talk badly about you behind their back or about behind your back, and you know, people who don't want to see you succeed or have negative comments whenever, you know, you're like, oh wow, I just did this really cool thing, and they're like, well, good luck while it lasts or something, you know.
Yeah, like so
like a backhanded
it's such a backhanded comment. Yeah. And I feel like you and I probably relate so much because it's hard to be a go-getter. It's hard to just wake up and make a decision and be like, I'm quitting my job and starting something new, you know? And that's how I knew you and I were a lot alike, because when you talked to me about that, I was like, I know if she's ready to do it, she will do it. And you did. You literally changed your career path and you're on this whole new like plan to like this great future for yourself. And that intimidates some people because they know they would never have the strength to do that, and then they see you doing it and it kind of like is like a threat to them. And then on top of it, you're like absolutely beautiful, a great mom, probably have a wonderful marriage and life and family, and like these people that are close to you that see that are like jealous. And it's hard to believe that because I'm sure you're like me, you're like, why are people jealous of me? Like we're all capable of this, you know? But then it can be like a painful feeling when you start seeing that these people that you thought were your friends are kind of like doubting you from the start.
Yeah.
And that's painful.
And family.
And family.
It's really hurtful.
Yes, especially. I feel like family is the most hurtful because they're supposed to love you and support you no matter what. And like their opinion matters so much more than the opinion of maybe a friend. And then half the time they're the most critical. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I kind of went through that with my family at times where I felt like I had to like earn my way for them to like believe in me.
That 100% is me. I've always been like, I have to like prove myself to them. And it took my husband finally saying to me like, you're already doing more for not only other people, but for yourself, for your family than half of them. Mm-hmm. So what are you trying so hard to prove? And I'm like, you know, and it has nothing to like the way that some of my family members choose to live their life is totally fine. You know, it doesn't, it's not like I'm looking down on them because they don't want to start a business or do this or do that or whatever. It's more of just like, that's why I say it's more about them than it is you.
Correct.
Because they hate on me because I'm wanting to do that. But I think it's more because they weren't able to figure out how to do that.
They dislike themselves because they never got
and
to that place themselves.
It's given me a different outlook on it because I used to be so negative and be like, well, screw them or what, you know, I would almost be like angry about it and kind of like just talk shit on the whole situation. But I mean, lately I've been trying to reframe the way that I look at things and understanding people more and trying to be more like, okay, well, you know, maybe I could help them and just be like, hey, what do you think about this? Like, it's totally okay if you want to do this business or whatever, and just kind of give them a more positive look at life, I guess.
And you're coming at it from a place of love instead of negativity. And that's the game changer. I feel like that
it changed me.
Yeah, it changes yourself because
you don't carry it anymore.
And you don't walk around with like that resentment or that chip on your shoulder. You're like, I really hate that I triggered you. And I hate that you're clearly like that unhappy that like this bothers you. And so I think when you just keep showing up, like that's the most important thing, because how can someone continue to like hate on you if you're still showing up and supporting them, even if they disagree, even if they're telling you negative things? And I've had to do that with like friends and family myself, where I think I used to just I would just be like immature about it, where I'd get mad or I'd be like, fuck that, I'm not, I ain't got that with nothing to prove. But now I go into it with like, dang, like I know that what I'm doing is a reminder to them of what they're not doing. And like that is probably very hard for them. So I'm going to continue to like support them. And I think some people might like listen to this and be like, why would you do that though? Like they don't deserve it.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I also don't deserve to carry the pain of them like disliking what I'm doing or not approving of what I'm doing. And it makes me feel better by like almost letting it be like fluid, where it's like it comes in and it goes out and it's fine, but I'm going to just keep showing up, because if I let them like negatively impact me, then they win. And that's not fair to me. And so I'd rather just keep like I know my deepest self without even having a reading from you. A very big thing for me is just like being like my most honest self, and in a way like I'm very much like you, where I'm a helper and I want to bring out the good in people. Like I see their potential and I want to pull that from them and like help them see what I see in them. And so when someone like comes down on me, like a friend or family member, I kind of use it as like an opportunity to be like, hey, now, like we might need to have a discussion here, because if you're getting jealous or offended or something by what I'm doing, then like that's kind of showing the growth that they need. Yeah. And so I try to just step in and like help, but it's tough, because it's like if they don't want it, they're gonna just fight you more on it.
I've heard recently on a podcast that I was listening to was a great explanation of like how to decipher what you need to be for that person. And sometimes instead of being a tugboat, you need to be a lighthouse.
Oh my gosh, I've literally said, that's so funny. I just got goosebumps. I always say I want to be a lighthouse for people, where you can guide them to their best self.
Because a lighthouse just stands there and it just guides its light. And whoever wants to follow the light in will. And whoever doesn't. But
it's a good visual.
You got to go out there. You got to find the boat. You got to bring the boat in. And so.
Yeah. That's also really similar. So another thing I always used to say with like toxic people that I've had in my life is I felt like I was driving a train and dragging them across every track with me. And it was so heavy. Like carrying that load was so heavy, like pulling them with me. Like, come on, I see the best in you. Like, I'm going this way. You're coming with me.
Which then just changing your energy.
Yeah, it's slowing you down.
Yeah.
And it's you're like dragging through it, instead of, like you said, just being who you're going to be no matter what, and like attracting the right people. I literally just thought of that scene from Bug's Life where they
follow the light.
Follow the light. And they just fall over.
Don't get zapped.
Yeah, don't get zapped. Don't get zapped and killed, actually. But I just thought of that. But that's so true. That's such a great visual, because I think when you like, because if you're like forcing someone to come with you, like everyone's gonna suffer, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I used to do that so much. Like I'd get so frustrated, and like in human design also, you figure out like what is your not self. And so for me, a projector, it's bitterness. And I would find myself having that all the time. Like I'd be so bitter about like a specific person that just like wasn't seeing like their potential or my point of view, you know. And I had to understand that everybody has their own different point of view, and some people are going to align with mine and some people aren't. But that's okay, because me as a projector, I'm a lighthouse, and whoever's gonna come into my cove or whatever, like if you want to come into my cove, then you're my person.
Party at Haley's Cove. Come be like me.
Yes. Yeah. Haley's
yeah.
Cove. So I feel like these are all great business. I'm going to put these on my website. If you want to come into my cove.
Like that show Party Cove. It's like, Haley's Cove.
Oh my gosh. Tops are optional. No,
We can be nudists if we want.
Right.
Everyone just let it all hang out.
But yeah,
God,
so it definitely helped shift my energy by like just being more of that and not so bitter.
Yeah, for real.
Yes.
Okay, I don't want to like harp on like the human design stuff too much, but I'm still like, I have to like wrap my head around this a little more. Is it like what is the process of it? Is there a reading? Is it like a test? Is it like a...
No, it's a reading. So
It's a
literally
reading?
the only like requirements you need to find your human design are the time of your birth, city and state you were born in, and your birth date.
Okay.
And so you have those 3 things. We can figure out your human design, and then it's kind of like typing your stuff into an astrology reading
Okay.
site.
Yeah.
You know, you type your stuff in and it will pull up your birth chart, and
Okay.
you have all these different things that make up your birth chart. Well, it's similar to that. But this is more, rather than, I mean, it somewhat works off of planets and planet energies, but rather than like, oh, this is your sun sign and your moon sign and your this, it's more of, this is your energy type. This is how this is your highest sense. You know, for me, it's touch. And then your strategy, like the way that you're going to get what you want, how you manifest, your digestion.
Whoa.
Like that,
Mine would be a shit show. It'd be like, your digestion is a mess. You need lots of bitters in your life and apple cider vinegar.
How to digest. So for me, it's indirect light. So
okay.
if I eat, and which is so crazy because like I love dimly lit restaurants.
Me too.
Like not only for like the fancy aspect of it,
Yeah.
but I just find that like I love it. I eat so good there, and
You know what? You told me you love pasta earlier
Yeah.
and you like dimly lit places. You have to try Noto. It's like out here.
I've been wanting to try it.
It's like
Off 94.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like a couple weeks out sometimes, like for reservations. But like if you go early, you can usually get one. I got at 5 o'clock on like a Wednesday night a couple weeks ago. It's like so hard to get into because it's small, but you would just die. It's like
Really?
homemade pasta. They have gluten free. It's all like wood fired stuff, and the vibe is like so great, and the drinks are amazing. Drink your activated or eat your activated charcoal from Symbiotica after.
All the things.
Yeah, all the things to keep yourself
I'm
up.
very high maintenance these days.
I am too. I'm like, I need the perfect amount of light, the filtered triple purified water. I need everything.
Yeah, it's not really like cosmetics. I'm just high maintenance for my digestion.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, my husband's like, I thought I was signing up for easy, 12
Yeah.
years ago. And now you got all these things.
We have all these steps, like
Yeah.
these steps to just functioning and having good sleep and not stressing out and being a business owner. It's fine.
Right. But yeah, we'll have to train that out.
I know. You definitely need it. You have to tell me how good it is because it was like the best food. It was so good. Everything's like 10 out of 10.
I'm going to be craving it
Shout out to Noto
now.
Yeah, you gotta go. Be like, husband, we
Yes.
are going here in the next 2 weeks. I don't care if we're going at 3 o'clock in the afternoon
Right.
with old people. We're going.
Yes.
Date night.
Yeah.
Okay. So the is it like a certification process you go through?
For me to be a reader?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm almost finished with level 2. So I'm taking my last course this week. So I'll be fully level 2 certified. So technically I can do readings now. But I, being me, want to have it. I want to do the full thing before I like officially offer them. So I will be doing level 3 advanced in the next coming weeks. And so by the end of September, hopefully I'll be doing official readings.
That's so cool though. You have to keep me posted because I had, which I'm sure this is very different obviously than a medium, but I had a medium come to my store one time and we did like readings, and that was, people just actually really love this stuff. I think there's a lot more people that are open-minded to this than we want to believe at first, but then when you start like realizing it, like everyone wants to know like their inner self. A medium is so different. Obviously it's like telling you like things about your life and your past and your future, and a lot of it's like with dead people and stuff, where this is like tapping into you and your energy and like how to be your best. But I feel like this is something where like, who wouldn't want to know that, you know? Like, I want to know what makes me tick and like what actually fulfills me and what keeps me going and what motivates me, because nobody wants to be burned out and like lost.
No, it's
the worst
such
feeling.
It's a lonely feeling. It's a uncomfortable feeling. I mean, I still deal with it from time to time, but it's more so of like, okay, where do I take this new business endeavor, rather than like, what am I doing? Like, what is going to make me happy? Because now it's like, I know the thing that makes me happy, makes me tick. But it's, I think finding yourself is huge.
It really is. And I feel like it helps you just show up your best way. And that's like the most important thing, because when you think of...
And confidence.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was kind of thinking. Like, if your confidence, the easiest way to kill your confidence is not knowing what the hell you want. And like, I feel like that's kind of like where we've all been, where you're just kind of lost and you're just like walking through life like, if I just wasn't here, would I even make it? You know, it's like everyone wants to make a difference and like leave an impact. And especially being a mom, like, you want to show your children what it's like to like show up your best self, to like impact the world, make it better, and then impress that on your own kids.
Yes, 100%.
And that is a huge reason I think that
make them proud. Like, you want them to be proud of you.
Exactly. Like, don't even do it for yourself anymore. Like, do it for your family, because how cool will it feel to see your children like be like, my mom did that, like, and I can do that too. Like, that's all I want to show my daughter, is that you are capable of anything you set your mind to. Your gifts are beautiful and you need to use them, and like, you're different and that's okay, and it's a beautiful thing. Like, I want to be different. Yes. I don't want to be like everyone else. And that's part of like the unconditioning piece that I think you've touched on. Like, I don't want to be who society wants me to be. I just want to be who I came into this world as. And I always get back to yourself.
When you know yourself, like, nothing or no one is going to stop you.
And I feel like you're like, I have this like thing over in the corner here, and it says everything is figured outable. Yeah. And I always am like, yes.
I say that to my son all the time. Yeah, because he's like very much like, oh my gosh, what do we do? Yeah. And I'm like, everything is figure outable. We got this.
But I feel like when you know yourself, it's like you can figure anything out as long as you know you. And I also feel like another fun word you can say with this too is that you're unfuckwithable.
Yeah.
Too. Because when you know you and someone tries to tell you something that you know isn't you, you're like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
But when you're not confident and you don't even know who you are at all, you're like, am I that? Is that me?
Yeah.
Am I like a liar and a fraud and a whatever? And it's like, no. And that's why I think like my friends now are like, how do you deal with the hate you get? Because I have like whole ass Reddit pages about me. Reddit haters, I hope you're watching and listening, because they are the biggest fans. Like, they read my shit like the daily newspaper, I swear. But these people actually have the damn time to like screenshot my stuff, post it in a group, and talk all day about me. And I'm like, they pick on me because I don't even have a deck on my back, the back of my house yet. I'm like, okay.
I don't either. So maybe they'll add me to your Reddit pages.
They like pick on me because I have the like boarded up thing across my door back there, because
your daughter needs to be safe.
Exactly. I'm like, well, first of all, that's a safety thing.
She's up to code.
Yeah, we're up to code here, ladies. HOA, they're okay with it. And secondly, I don't have a deck, because the deck I want is going to cost $100,000, and I'm saving for it like a good girl.
Yeah.
Because I want the whole shebang. Like, I want the outdoor seating and the like screened in area, and I want the like, what do you call it? Like a little roof that comes out. I want a whole ass thing. So it's like, I'm not going to just get some cheapy little deck. I want a nice deck, right?
I don't half-ass.
It's like a second living room. Yeah, I'm full ass. So that's the reason why I'm waiting, because good things come to those who wait. So,
yes.
But I say this because like my friends that know about this, they're like, I don't understand how this doesn't bother you. And I'm like, well, first of all, I've been on social media for over 10 years. Like, at this point, it's just like part of...
The skin is thick, honey.
That is true. And it's just part of the game. Like, when you broadcast your life to the world, you're going to get opinions that you don't ask for, you know? But I think the biggest thing that has helped me, because it did used to bother me a lot, and you get stronger as you get older and deal with it more. But I think like the biggest game changer for me, and honestly, I don't know why, but I think the most of it came from when I started going through my divorce. I think it's because I just started finding out who the hell I actually am. Mm-hmm. And what I'm going to be okay with, what I'm not, setting boundaries, like figuring out like what I will and won't like accept into my brain, into my life, like the energy I won't take on. And when these people that don't even know me have opinions, why does it matter? It doesn't. Mm-hmm. Because I know me. I know how I show up. I go to bed at night happy and proud of who I am, knowing I did my damn best that day. And like, I don't care what these people think, but that's like a hard thing for a lot of us women, especially moms who get a lot of unsolicited opinions, to be okay with, you know? But I think like what you're doing is so huge because, and maybe this is like where the missing piece was, I won't speak for you, but I think like you want to help people like feel that confident where like they know exactly who they are and like things won't shake them. Like opinions of people won't shake them, family members, shitty friends, whatever. Like they know deeply who they are and how they want to show up. And that is like the real power.
Yes. Yeah. So if you're a Reddit hater, reach out to me because I will help you be happy.
Girl beyond.
I will help you grow.
Those are your best clients. I got 250 people waiting for you.
Oh my gosh. Who knew? I'll help you. I'll help them.
We're just going to make this world a better place.
We are. That's the goal, you know?
Seriously. So where do you see yourself going with this?
Well, I would love to coach using human design, like very much emphasis on human design, and just coach people on purpose, career. And that's the goal right now. So.
I feel like career is a big piece of it because when people like finally get that last part figured out, like the career and how they want to show up, it kind of brings like a lot of it together. And you've probably noticed that yourself. Figuring out changing your career path kind of changed everything for you.
Yeah.
I really feel like it did. I wish it
does
again. What does that mean?
I don't know. Maybe I'm zapping. I think we're just vibing.
I know. Seriously. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But no, that's exactly what it is. And I love that. And like I said, I don't want to like totally just focus on career just because like for like stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home dads, whoever. I want to help them too because or if you are somebody that's like, okay, I'm happy in my career, but I just feel like something's missing still.
Yeah.
Because it was like
or something.
It was like I started my podcast, but I was still like, okay, I love this, but something's still missing. So maybe it's just you need to find the little thing that's missing.
Yeah, just like tweaking a little. Like that I'm doing what I need to do, but I need to change how I show up or like something along those lines.
Yeah. And if it's, you know, if you are a hater and you feel like bitterness in your heart and, you know, maybe need to figure out how to not feel that or like channel that into like more positive energy. Like I would love to work with people like that too, because no one wants to live like that every day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I said, that makes me tired thinking about people going on sites and just bashing. Like seriously, that takes more energy to do that rather than just, I don't know, not put it out there.
Exactly. It really does. And I think it's huge too because like I'm in therapy. Like I go to therapy because I want to be better because I know I'm not my best self, you know? And so I think what you do is huge too because it's people being like, yeah, I'm not really happy with how I'm showing up and I want to like learn to become that. And I think that's where,
because I've been there. I've not been a full-blown saying of like positivity.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been
it's hard work.
Yeah,
it's easy to be a negative pessimist. You know, it's hard to be like where you and I are
really
like, on this higher energy level. And I think like attracting people that are like, I'm not there, but I want to be there. Like that's so cool because you get to see people that like want it but don't know exactly how to get there, and you can be the lighthouse for them.
I love being the lighthouse. Come to my cove.
Yeah, come to my cove. Shirt or no shirt, it's fine.
Right. Shirt or no shirt. Tops are up.
People walk in, you're like wherever you do.
I know. I'm like, okay, like that was a metaphor.
Yeah.
We're kidding.
Let me go get you a robe real quick. So we're not.
You know, we're fully clothed here.
Oh my gosh. Well, it was so nice to chat with you today. This is so cool. I cannot wait to see where you go with this. And I am signing up for a reading when you're ready because I want to know how to become my best self.
Yeah, I love that. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, how can our listeners get a hold of you? Where's the best way to find you?
Well, Instagram. My personal is at Haley A. Tharp. So, and my name is Hayley.
I was just about to say that. I'm like,
there's like 10 different spellings for Haley.
I like how it's spelled though. It's like, Haley.
Yes, Haley. So yes, at Haley A. Tharp, and it's my personal. And then my podcast is at Inside Voice Pod.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I can't wait to chat again and see where you've gone with this because I know this is just the beginning of something really cool for you. So
yeah, absolutely.
I love you.
I'd love to be back.
Yes, we will do many more if you want.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Until next time, be loud, be proud, and be shameless.
For more information, visit us at anskinbeauty.com to shop all our medical grade skincare.